This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake your body.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
9-2 for Gatlin. And you might have jinxed Usain Bolt there, Chris, by saying that, can you imagine a scenario where Gatlin comes out and beats Usain Bolt? But he has.
Ladies and gentlemen, the whole world was shocked. The whole world was stunned. But the whole world had to deal with the reality. On Usain Bolt's last professional race ever, he was defeated by a worthy opponent. This rivalry has been brewing for years, Heather B.
Oh, yeah.
And for one of these athletes, what a perfect ending to a story. And that athlete is American-born, Brooklyn-born, right here in our soil, the one and only Justin Gatlin is here. The fastest man in the world today.
Wow.
Wow.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Man, give him a round.
Yeah, man.
The man has been through so much, Justin, and I can relate to it, Justin.
Oh, God.
Now that I have
right
you here.
in?
Yeah, I got to, because he and I, we bonded right outside. It's like we known each other. He said he grew up watching me. I watched him grow up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You know,
Okay.
so it's the similarities, Justin. So you should know I'm from Oakland, California, similar to Brooklyn. You should know
Okay.
similarities.
All right.
Okay.
Look, what else y'all got in common?
Did you ran AAU track as a kid?
I did.
I did too.
Oh, wow.
What races did you run as a kid?
I ran 100 meters, 200 meters, long jump, high jump. I did everything, man.
I did too.
No, I never heard of
You
long
did the
jump.
jump?
Sport. Yes.
I did long jump.
You was jumping?
I jumped. I triple jumped too. I did
He had to
triple
retire early. His knees weren't.
because of triple
Oh,
jump.
damn.
He stick to the track, though. He got that speed, though.
Okay, thanks for the update, Justin.
Justin knows my legend. That's why he's telling you that. That's exactly what happened. The knees went out because of triple jump. And then I ran in college up at Merritt College, junior college in Oakland.
Okay.
First year of junior college, and I was a Northern California regional 400-meter hurdle champion. Thank you for the applause. Thank you. Thank you. So I have a different understanding of track than your average viewer like Heather and Tracy and them do.
I ran track.
Look
Go
at their
ahead.
faces.
Okay.
though.
I
Look
just
how they
ran a half
looking.
marathon. I'm chilling.
Tracy,
What?
how's your eye doing? I'm a listener now. I'm a long-time listener.
Citizen.
I always want to call and say first time call, a long-time listener. I listen. I'm saying it because I care for you. I want to make sure.
How is that sticky eye doing? She got the eye infection, remember?
This is funny. So what did you learn from listening to the show, Justin? What did you learn about Sway, myself, and Tracy? What have you learned?
I learned that you guys may be late for practice every morning. I know that for sure.
Damn, man. Come on, Justin. Let's go get out of that conversation.
No, for real, seriously. You know, I love the sports reports. I get out the car right when the sports reports are over.
Okay.
So, I listen to what you got to say. You talk about, the Warriors. This guy over here love the Warriors. Your Spurs.
Yeah. All right.
So I listen. So,
That's
yeah,
what's
for
up,
sure.
man. Justin Gatlin, ladies and gentlemen.
Good stuff.
Let me ask you something, man. You in 2004, you won that was your first Olympic gold. Right?
It was, yeah.
In 100 meters. I knew growing up, the name of our track club was 1980 because as kids, they wanted us to aim for the 1980 Olympics. And we always dreamt of. Ken Yamada was our coach. We just honored him recently, like a month ago, for what he did to disenfranchised kids in the neighborhood. Track saved my life because had I not ran track growing up in Oakland, as witty and clever as we all were, we would have went down a whole totally different path. But the discipline I learned from track. Even physicality, I'm in my 40s, man. I look like I could be 25 right now. You know what I mean?
do.
Thank you, Justin.
We look like brothers.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Okay, and because of track, I give credence to that. What did it mean to win an Olympic gold?
It was amazing, and what it made even better is that I won it at the age of 20.
Yeah.
So I was really young. I didn't know nothing really about life. And I achieved something I worked very hard for the last couple of years before that, So to be able to do that, it set me up to be able, okay, what can I do next in life? How can I achieve more? How can I have that hunger? Because, when you achieve something, sometimes people say, okay, turn the game off. I'm done. I won.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to make that next level and trying to see where the growth is.
Yeah.
So winning that gold in 2004, it just made me hungrier to be a better person, all around, and not have that pitfall of being arrogant or cocky or I'm the man. I wanted to be able to inspire others that's going to come behind me.
But that kind of attitude and energy comes with the sport of track and field, man. There has never been a humble winner, you know what I mean?
history.
Like in the history of track and field, it may be Jesse Owens. You know what I mean? You got to go way
true.
back because if you look at Ben Johnson from Canada, cocky, used to beat his chest. Carl Lewis, as classy and gracious as he was a competitor, and he wasn't humble about his talents, right? Usain Bolt, is a real good, caring guy for the community, the whole nine, but he everybody, Calvin Smith, whoever, Michael Johnson. We could go down the line of all these great athletes. You got to have that kind of bravado, right?
Well, I mean, I could tell you why. It's because all the hard work you put in on a daily basis for your individual race. You don't got 12 guys on the field with you. You don't got 4 of the guys on the court with you. This is all about, what you're going to do individually. But at the same time, when you step on that track, you taking a whole country on your back, or you taking your mom, your dad, your family members, all the people that wished you well. So when you cross that line, you want to celebrate.
Yeah.
I only get 9 seconds. I don't get 2 halves. I don't get 4 quarters.
Yeah.
So I got to be able to show who I am, my personality, my persona.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you cross the line, you got to show a little celebration, but at the same time, you got to keep it low key because you don't want to be that kind of guy where everybody wishes you to lose next time.
Interesting because after beating Usain Bolt, I noticed you went over to him and you knew it was his last race. And then let me ask you this too: how sweet was it? I mean, did it make a difference? We know he came off an injury the past summer and the whole nine. Did it make a difference to you? Would it have been sweeter if he not had an injury?
Well, I had an injury too.
Okay.
So I mean, that was like the pitfalls of what we do. You try to. They say in our sport, you try to get injured at the time where it's not going to be as important.
Right.
So fall training right before the season starts. But I had injuries right when it's time to do speed training.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really get my speed up to where I need to get it to. And he's had injuries too with his back, his knees, ankles. So we old guys, man. We old guys in the game. So, when it was time for us to race, it wasn't about the time per se. It was about the effort that we put out. And obviously you saw we was split between hundreds of seconds. So it's faster than this. Snap of your fingers. So it did take away from the win. It didn't make it sweeter. It was a battle that has been brewing for a while.
Yeah.
But we had so much respect for each other at the same time.
Yeah, and I like when y'all talk shit about each other too. But that's a part of the game, right?
Yeah, it is.
The thing that happened that was kind of disappointing is the crowd booed after you won, right? Yeah. And it's like they hold over your head. We know you've had infractions in the past. You've been suspended from drug testing in the past. And it's almost, and even in the first time you've argued, I didn't even know what that was. Like, I didn't even know.
Well, I'm diagnosed with ADD. I've been diagnosed since I was in 2nd grade. So I've been taking, I call myself the guinea pig because first off, they gave me Ritalin to begin with. And then I went from Ritalin to Zoloft. And Zoloft's an antidepressant.
Yep.
So imagine you 8 years old and you taking Zoloft. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
Every day. So then I went from that to Adderall. So this is something I used from 2nd grade all the way to my freshman year in college.
Yeah.
And then when I went to race on a professional level, where I was in a race where it was sanctioned by the professional federation, I tested positive for the Adderall, the chemical compound of the Adderall. So it wasn't Adderall per se because Adderall wasn't on the ban list. So once it happened, I got a suspension. So from there, they went and put Adderall on the list after I tested positive. So I had a 2-year ban. So imagine not making money for 2 years, and then went in and they dropped it down for a year. But luckily I was in college, so I wasn't even racing professionally. I was still in college. I went on the next year, my sophomore year in college, and I won the NCAA's, the 100 meters, 200 meters, and then I turned pro. So from there, that's what it was for the first infraction.
The second one, what happened?
I think that I was just around the wrong people. You know what I mean? I actually fired a massage therapist, and I always stuck to my story. And I think that topical cream was pretty much placed on me. And from there, I had 7 series of tests before that test, all lined up one by one. And then I had minute traces in that 8th test.
And you think it was from the massage oils?
I think so. Because, I've been taking, as an athlete, you have a regime. You have a regimen that you take, your proteins, your supplements every day of your life. You know what I mean? Boom, 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 boom. Then you go to practice, train, do your little post shake. Then you come back, do it again the next day. Boom, 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 boom. So you really are conscious of what you're taking into your body on a daily basis. So, it's no hamburger, no pizza. If you stay away from that kind of stuff, then you're not really steering towards anything that's trying to enhance your performance.
Enhance your performance or get you banned from perform.
Well, I mean, I was at the end of the day, I was like, once again, I was away from the sport for 4 years, so almost half a decade. So imagine not having an income for 4 years. You know what I mean? That's what it was. So my whole life's changed, man. Like I went from up here to down here to like I had to figure out, okay, I'm gonna put gas in my car today or I'm gonna eat top ramen noodle today.
Oh, it was that bad?
It was that bad,
so
man.
Did you get another job?
No, I didn't. I mean, I was doing volunteer work. I was working at my old high school. I was making sure, and big up to Woodham High School because I got the kids. We went to won state championship. So these are things that are in me, So I wasn't really looking at getting another job per se because I believed in who I was. And I said, I want to get back to where I am. So I didn't want to derail myself and get a whole other job, whole other career. I got offered jobs. I got offered jobs to work with Merrill Lynch. But I went into the room, I was like, man, this ain't me, man. I can't sit at no desk. So I had to get out and get some sunshine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be honest, I just stayed the course. I had a little professional football stint for a little. It was short.
Yeah.
Microscopic.
Yeah. Took that hit to the knees, huh?
But I realized I was in bed, man. I was laying next to another guy who was in the same room, and he just returned the kick for the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl with T.O. And I was like, man, I saw you on TV, man. He's like, yeah, man, I got dropped, from the Eagles. I had to turn my power off in my house and go find another job, find another team. I was like, man, this is what we got. This is a real hustle.
Yeah.
I was like, man, so I laid in bed. I thought about it. I was like, why try another sport where I'm going to be behind the 8 ball already for just being a track athlete, and track athletes are known to be best football players, or either go back to a sport where I once was a king and fight for what I know I have.
But would you argue that there is, because we had Maria Sharapova here the other day, and then she talked, this is what she said about when she failed a test.
This was something that was legal for many years that I had been taking. It was a supplement in Russian, over-the-counter supplement that a doctor had recommended, had legal documentation that it was perfectly safe to take, and then January 1st, 2016, it becomes illegal without my knowledge. I do a test, obviously fail it because it's on the list, and I had no clue.
So that happens. Like a lot of what happens with you, I think people don't believe the story with athletes because so many athletes, especially in track and field, do dope. They get on those programs and they try to get off those programs in a timely fashion where it won't detect when it's time to take those tests, correct?
Yeah.
We know that happens. We know that happens in baseball, the whole nine. What do you think the future of of the sport, track and field is? Like, can people compete for so many years, sustain that high level of output without drugging?
Yeah. I mean, track and field is not a young man's game.
Yeah.
It's an older man's game. And why I said is because as you race, you become wiser. You learn your flaws. You learn your mistakes. So with every loss, there's a lesson. So you say, okay, how did I get beat in this race? How can I get better? And the same thing what you saying. It's like you watch our races over and over again. The times he beat me, he always comes back at the end of the race. So I had to change my whole regimen up to say, okay, for this one guy, I had to change my whole regimen up, always starting from fall and say, okay, how am I going to work on fending off this guy the last 20 meters of the race? That's what he always gets me. And that's what I used that momentum and that time going into 2017 and said, okay, I had to be confident in myself to say, this didn't work. So I had to blindly walk into something I've never really done before and say, hopefully this works. It's a gamble.
It's a gamble.
It's a gamble, but that's what it is. I mean, you have to believe in who you are, who yourself is, and go out there and just run for that.
And run for that. Justin Gatlin, man. We got Justin Gatlin here.
Yo.
Go ahead, Heather.
I wanted to ask you, if you can, paint the picture of the pressure that track artists must be under, because for us, just being fans of the sport and watching, we kind of know who you are maybe after you win the Olympic and then the commercials come out, whether it's the Wheaties and it's the Nike and the different things. How much pressure is it to get to that point where you may consider doing a doping, like as Sway mentioned, a regimen in the off season, because you want to because you said, imagine not making money for 2 years and 4 years. You want to get that big dollar. So how much pressure is it?
Well, I've been thinking like this. If you compare track and field to other sports, so like let's compare it to basketball.
Okay.
So most of the guys on the team are making 6 figures and up. right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
seven.
Look-
Seven.
look at you.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
7 figures.
So in
Well, the
track,
scrubs are at 6.
Yeah.
Not scrubs, but I mean, you know,
but you know what I'm
less,
saying?
you know what I mean?
There's people on the bench who's making $1 million. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
7 figures. Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
in track, it's not that. It's a hustle, man. Because you got people who are racing just to make sure they could pay their rent for the rest of the year.
So if you're saying like an average, say a bench warmer on a basketball team is making $1 million and that's minimum, what's the average track salary per se? You said rent, what,
The upper
50,000?
The upper echelon for a track athlete, they're making maybe $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Maybe after that, getting appearance fees and things like that, you going over the other side of $1 million.
Okay.
You know, people who are outliers like Usain, he has turned the sport into a different realm.
Sure.
But the regular standard athletes you see, the 6 other guys who are lined up against us, they may be making between 30,000 to maybe 100K
A year.
That's their base.
Yeah.
And some of them not even making that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. And these are the guys in the finals. These ain't the guys in the semifinals,
Right.
the trials,
Wow.
right?
So then you
Okay.
think about this. Your
Okay.
contract in track and field could consist of bonuses and reductions. So if you don't make an Olympic team, you getting reduced. Bah! Right? So I've seen people who did not make a world team and they get reduced right within the year. Not even the next year where they should be. They're getting reduced within the physical year. So you can see what the pressure is on a financial aspect. Now you looking at your mama, your daddy, your sister, your uncle, your aunt sitting in the stands wishing you well. They don't know much about track and field. They just know that their baby out there running.
Right.
You know, so you got that pressure on you to say, okay, how can I make this happen? How can I be a superstar in the eyes of not only my family but my well wishers? You know, so that pressure could be tough on a lot of people.
So then, in your instance, during those 4 years off, were you eating off of your savings, or did you have someone that was giving you money?
I did. Fortunately, you know, with my success I had from 2004 on to about 2006, 2007, I was able to save up and have that savings.
Good.
Mama Gatlin, great financial background. She'd even go to college, but my mom is a hustler. She's Bronx woman. You know, she's out there doing that thing.
The VXOQ.
VX.
His mama's from the Bronx.
From the Bronx, boogie down. You know what I mean? I mean, but she helped, you know, put my finances in order, keep my life right. She stepped away from her job, which was in banking, and said, all right, I'm going to be your momager. I'm going to make sure everything happens. So when that rainy day came, when it stormed, I was able to keep myself afloat.
Yeah, good. God bless.
It's a lot of pressure running track, man.
Wow.
You know,
I had no
Sway.
idea.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
Paint the picture, Sway.
Yeah, it's hard, man, because you're working out every day. You know, you don't know what the performance is going to be when the time comes. The world is watching. The weight of the world is on your shoulders. 10 seconds could be to determine the rest of your life. I know. you know
what it's
Justin, I
like.
can relate to it.
Justin, really quickly, even on the female side, how do you think the sort of the competitiveness, the rivalry formed with United States and Jamaica? It's really hard to root because I never.
Yeah, I root for both.
I mean,
Like, I feel like it's a win no matter how you slice it. You know?
Yeah.
it is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's every so often you have countries that rise up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
America has always been a staple of sprinting. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got Evelyn Ashford. You know, you have
Florence Griffith Joyner.
There you go, Flo Jo.
Yeah.
You
Gail
got Carl
Devers.
Lewis, you got
Yeah.
Dennis Mitchell. All these guys who have, you know, paved the way for American athletes to be the best. Not only are young American athletes watching them, but Caribbean athletes are watching those athletes too. So when you have someone like Usain come up, who is their own, you know, it gives them hope to say, okay, I live in a house that maybe doesn't even have glass on the window.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I live in a house that doesn't have an air conditioning. But he probably came from that same background and made it all the way to the top. So he's giving hope to other young athletes to say, I can do it too. And I mean, it was just a wave of Jamaican athletes who come.
Shelly Ann Price.
Shelly Ann
Ooh.
Frazier,
Price.
You know, you got Elaine Thompson.
Yeah,
You got
Elaine Thompson,
you got so many young athletes who have come along the way, not just in sprinting, but now they can see they could do it in 800 meters. They could do it in the 1500. They could do it in jumps. They could do it in throws, you know? So it has turned on a light in their mind. One person has helped do that, help achieve that. But you can't take away from people like Don Quarry who have come along before Usain has made those things happen as well.
Absolutely. Is Usain the greatest sprinter of all time?
Man. I have to say, yeah, man.
Yeah.
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 You know, he has. I don't think anybody saw him coming.
Yeah.
So that contribute to his success. You know, it's like he kicked the door down. Like, boom, here I am. So usually in track and field, you see athletes coming from age group, like
Yeah.
you said. You know,
Yeah.
AAU, be like, oh man, that's the next one right there. They keep the good coach. They get in a good program in college. You're gonna see them again as a professional. And usually that's what happens. You got Allison Felix's, the Sanya Richards Rosses, who have started at a young age.
Tory.
Tory Bowie.
Yep.
You know, so you have, but Usain, he did it in a way where he didn't have that limelight on him. I raced against Usain in 05. You know, as a youth athlete, he ran the 200 meter when I won the world championship in the 200 meter. But, you know, he wasn't really serious about track and field then. So watching him come up, you know, and be more serious about track, it showed who he was. He took that mentality, he flipped it and said, okay, I can make success out of this. You know, I might not be a soccer player, which I want to be, but I could be the fastest man in the world. And he worked to that.
Let me ask you this, because and here's the thing. Justin Gatlin is here. And first of all, let me say, I commend you on your strength.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really do, because I can only imagine what it's like, because people give you backlash from something that happened 10 years ago, and it seemed like, based on how you explained it, was really misunderstanding and so on and so forth. But your passion for the sport has afforded you to stay in there and be resilient. And there are a lot of young athletes that look up to you as well, like they look up to Usain or any of these other athletes that I'm naming. Michael Johnson was my favorite athlete of all time, because he did the 200, the 400, and, you know, he could have did 100 if he wanted to. He's one of my favorite of all times. Now you're giving back with the Justin Gatlin Foundation, and you're doing something this weekend. Can you talk about that?
Well, like you said at the beginning, if you didn't have track and field, you probably would have went down a different path. You probably wouldn't have Sway in the morning. You probably wouldn't be sitting here with Tracy G, DJ Wonder, Heather B.
Definitely
You know
not.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Inspiring other people. So what I'm trying to do is I'm bringing together the Justin Gatlin Foundation, and I'm starting up this year. And the first kickoff is going to be on Staten Island, September 23rd, this Saturday. And it's going to be over 100 kids there. It's going to be from different all backgrounds. It's going to be kids from the projects, the community, but it's also going to be kids who are daughters and sons of CEOs, you know, here in Manhattan. So I'm trying to bring a collective group to be able to steer people in the right direction, have leadership roles, have sportsmanlike conducts when they go further in life. Because track and field is, you know, sport. If you just break it down, it's just discipline.
Yeah.
What do you do when you get in trouble on a basketball team or football team? You run.
Yeah.
You got to do laps. That's what our sport consists of, running all the time. So it's like you push your body and you hit that wall, but is that wall really where you going to stop? You could get past that. So I'm trying to show those kids this weekend physically by teaching them certain techniques, but also metaphorically that we could take it to another level. And no matter how old you are, you're inspiring somebody. Let it be old or young, you know, and that's what I want to do. I love track and field. Love it to death. Regardless of me being in the sport or not in the sport, I was still a fan. I watched everything he did. Usain inspired me in 2008. When I sat in the bar and watched what he did, I wasn't afraid like a lot of other athletes were afraid to race him. I looked up at the screen and said, I want to race that guy. I want to be able to line up against him. So that became my path to get back where I needed to be. So that's what I want to do for the next generations, help them obtain their path. And when I was at my lowest, I saw a lot of athletes who would get up in the morning, who had nothing, nothing. Get up in the morning and put their clothes on, go out to the track, no contract, no money coming in, train hard as just I'm training, and then take their clothes off, take a shower, get ready, go to work at Chili's or Applebee's.
Wow.
That was their dream. Their dream was to be a track athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like they didn't want to give up their passion. And who am I to tell them, hey, you ain't going to make it? Because one day you can. You know, and that's what I did. I was able to stand shoulder to shoulder with these guys. I remember working out with a guy who lived in his car.
Wow.
He would change his clothes. He'd get out his car in the morning, change his clothes, put his clothes on out the trunk, and go to practice.
Did he shower in the gym?
He showered. He did. He showered in the gym.
All right, okay.
But guess what? This was at like 2010. This boy made the Olympics 2012.
Wow.
That's how passionate he was.
Wow.
He made the Olympic team in 2012.
Wow.
So that's love. That's passion. You know.
Wow.
But think about track and field. It's not about being a blip on the radar. It's about sustaining your career, being there, and say, okay, how can I get better? Evolve. And that's what life is about. Just evolving, being a better person every day of your life.
Well, let me ask you this, because you beat Usain, who was a person that you idolized and that you admired, but he still has the world record. Is that next for you?
You know, I'm still going. I still have about another 3 years in my tank. So I'm defying the odds by being 35. I'm a dinosaur in my field. You know, usually average sprinter is done by 27, 28. You know,
Wow.
So I would love to be able to take a shot at that. I'm not scared of taking a shot at it. It's just about training yourself to get to that point. You know, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to coast through the next 3 years. I want to go out with a bang. I want to say, you know what? I'm tapped out. I gave all I could give.
Yeah.
I want to walk off, cross that finish line, take my spikes off, and leave it right at the finish line and say, I'm done. I'm out of here.
Well, I'm gonna pick them up because I could get a look on eBay. That's gonna be. I'm gonna clean up on eBay. But
Pick them up, not to put them on, but to sell them.
I'm selling them. But at 35, you ran the fastest time recorded in history, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, at 35 years old, there's never been a 35-year-old that has run the 100 meters as fast as he recently
God
did.
bless you.
And I'm the oldest man to ever be on an Olympic podium, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, what year you tapped out?
Oh man, I stepped out a couple years ago. I realized that
Is this your speech you gave? Go ahead.
this is, I just want to say thank you to all of those. Coach Ellis, one of my first track coaches.
Yes.
Peggy Laughlin from Manzanita Child Care Center. Kenya Mata, of course. Doug Oyang, Coach Pinus at Oakland High. Coach Compton at Merritt College.
College.
Yeah, Merritt College, man. We got nothing but burners. I just want to say I thank you to all the folks in track and field that have supported me throughout my career. I'm officially retiring from track and field as an athlete right now on Sway in the Morning.
Woo!
I was waiting for Justin Gatlin to get here and tell him he has free
I'm
reign.
honored.
He has free reign to be as great as he want to be. I'm going to step out of your way, brother.
I was nervous until I got here.
Okay, good, man.
I appreciate that,
man.
I appreciate that.
Man, look, how can people find out more about the Justin Gatlin Foundation? Matter of fact, if you're in New York, take your kids out.
Yeah.
Even if they're not into track and field, especially if you want to get your kids in shape. To me, track and field is the best way to get your kids in shape as well. Have them join Justin Gatlin at the Justin Gatlin Foundation. That's taking place at the Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex on Staten Island this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Come out, meet this man.
Yeah.
Have your kid come meet an Olympic gold medalist.
I mean, it's also going to be other Olympians there as well. So I'm bringing some of my friends, some of my teammates. So,
nice.
you got. I'm just taking a little bit of athletes from around the world. So you got Aaron Brown, who's young. There's a lot of young athletes I'm going to bring who have been
Nice.
Olympians. Aaron Brown from Canada. He has also a Jamaican background, so it's going to help with the Caribbean athletes. Isaiah Young, who's a young athlete from Kansas, so that's the Midwest.
Wow.
And we're going to have a couple of young ladies out there as well to be able to inspire the girls who are out there as well.
How can people reach you, man? With our citizens, you're a citizen of Sweden. By the way,
he
Justin
is.
Gatlin, you are
I'm a citizen. You hear that?
Legit.
You know how long I've been waiting to be a citizen?
Okay, that's it, baby. You are fastest running citizen. I used to be it. All right, reach you directly on social media. Citizens, hit up an Olympic gold medalist right here.
Crazy.
Well, actually, right now I'm on IG Live, because I do this for my fans. I love y'all.
Where? Oh, shit.
There you go.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
You retired, Sway.
Hey, they say your name more than mine.
Yeah.
All in the building right there. All y'all.
Okay, cool.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you can hit me up on my IG
Okay.
at Justin Gatlin altogether. You can. I check my DMs. I check my messages. I follow my fans back. Love y'all. Thank y'all. And also, you can hit me up on basically www.justingatlinusa.com. And that's where you can also follow me and reach out to me. And basically, I'm available, man.
That's what's up.
I've get a lot of people that reach out to me and want me to do speaking engagements, want me to talk to Christian-based organizations. I don't turn anything down. I look it over and see if it works within my schedule, and I try to make it happen. Try to make it happen for sure.
Yeah, man. Keep doing you, brother.
Yeah.
It's a reason why you here.
And it's all about karma and turning everything around.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I give a portion of my earnings back to the Ronald McDonald organization in the Gulf Coast Kids House, which is in Pensacola. So those are things that I do, and I'll be back in New York around November 2nd for the Black Tie and Sneaker Gala.
Okay.
At which a lot of the New York-based kids will be there, and they'll get tickets, for free to be able to come out and rub shoulders with Michael Johnson, rub shoulders with me, Allison Felix, all these other great athletes who are going to be wearing evening gowns, but also sneakers too.
What's the kid name? I don't know if you know that broke Michael Johnson's 400-meter. You know?
What's
the kid name? A young kid. I can't think of his name. I never thought
from
that.
Oakland?
No, he ain't from Oakland. I feel like he's from not France. Where is he? Africa. I feel like.
Okay, from Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah.
His name is Wade Van Nykerk.
Yeah, Wade.
That dude broke Michael Johnson's 400-meter record.
I know Wade.
You know him?
Yeah, man. He is he a beast on the track.
Yeah.
But listening to him, he's so calm. You know, he talks real smooth. You know, he's like, sometimes you would think he's even nervous. I'm like, man, you ain't nervous. Come on, get out of here. He's like, man, I didn't know. I came around the curve and I put my head up to the sky. I just kept running, you know? I mean, you never know what's inside somebody's mind when they're running. You know, they might be running out of adrenaline, fear, or they might be running off of ego and be like, hey, y'all ain't gonna beat me today, you know? So watching him go out there and break Michael Johnson's record in the fashion he did from lane 8. So, you know how track is curved. So you start off, you ain't seeing nobody. You the rabbit. You out there in lane 8. You come around the curve. He didn't see nobody for the whole race. So basically, he ran a glorified time trial and broke the world record.
Broke a world record that nobody thought was ever going to be broken.
Yeah.
Even Michael Johnson had to give him props.
I think he can run faster.
Oh, he can. He's a young guy, right?
A young guy,
he got a lot, and he look like he even do a whole lot of weights or nothing.
Nah, man. He's a little cut guy.
He's a cut up guy. Justin Gatlin, man. Hey, did y'all ever fight back? You know, behind the scenes on the athletes because of the competition,
like physically fight.
Yeah.
Oh man, back in the day, I got some stories, man. This is back in the day, though.
Okay, back in the day. All right. Okay.
You punched Carl Lewis in the face?
Did I?
Yeah.
No, never.
What happened?
But I, you know, my coach Dennis Mitchell, right? He ran with Carl Lewis.
Okay.
And he's been on the world record team. He has a couple Olympic gold medals as well. I remember him getting a fight with an African athlete when he was running, right? And they was fighting in the lobby. They was tussling. He was fighting two brothers, so he's he's fighting them all. The African athlete had some jiu-jitsu, right? Chopped him in the mouth. Boom. His whole front row of his teeth just rattled, right? They didn't come out, but they rattled. He said for like 2 weeks he had to eat soup. He couldn't eat any solid foods, right? But I mean, it's crazy things that happen because, I mean, you got athletes who have all this built up frustration and they want to go out and just live life, you know, and they got to have that strict regimen. So we go out, we party afterwards. After some races, we go out, have a good time. I've seen athletes get chased by cops over in Germany.
Yeah.
I've seen athletes getting beat up in the lobbies. But, you know, it's all in fun, though, because it's something we look back at. No one ever got hurt. No one ever really died or anything like that. Nothing crazy.
No one really died.
ever died.
You know,
Kind of died, but not
there's
really.
people been having a little bit alcohol poisoning who look like they died.
Okay.
You know, you got to take them to the hospital.
Okay, one last question. Are you in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this doesn't apply to you. But is it a lot of like professional banging out going on behind the scenes? Like, because those female athletes look incredible. How do you stay off that muscular?
You know what?
The female athletes are the most beautiful people on the planet to me.
Shit, in the Olympics, they give what is it, like the condoms and shit to all the athletes because they know they're going to be fucking.
I have seen the fish bowls of condoms that are strategically set all around the Olympic Village. You know, they practice having safe sex. But at the end of the day, I'm going to put it like this way. You imagine that you travel around the world, you know, with athletes who are probably in the best shape of their life. So, you know, you got girls with the like slim bodies, little cut up abs, and nice little thighs and, you know, perky butts. But on the same side, girls traveling with guys who got, you know, the chest, you know, the abs. You know, so you going out, you going to practice, you watching people only wearing short tights. Stretching. And, you know, and you get bored over there because some places they don't speak any English, so you only are able to congregate around people who speak your language. So sometimes people get to the point where they're like, you know, hey, you looking really beautiful today, you know? But, you know, times have changed. Social media.
Oh,
Right.
Womp. You know, you got FaceTime so people can FaceTime their booze back at home.
Yeah.
So actually the sport has turned more business-like in a way to where people just handle their business, you know? They don't want to be labeled a certain way or be like, oh, that girl, you know, you get at her, you know what I mean? Just Netflix and chill in the room, you got her.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But People are handling their business.
She's the fastest whore on the track.
This boy was a wild boy at one point.
Right. I heard stories, man.
You heard stories?
I heard stories.
Okay,
I heard
good.
stories.
Let's tap out. We're going to tap out of that one. All right, Justin Gatlin, man. Continued success.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
So
guys.
You always got you're a citizen. You always got a seat at our table, brother.
I appreciate it. You
All
know,
right.
every morning I'm gonna be listening to the show, man.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate you, and I can't wait to when you competing again next season, right?
I am. I actually have a race coming up in about a week.
Where?
I'll be in Rio de Janeiro.
Can I go?
Come on, man.
All right.
Damn.
But when you in the
You might be
States,
put in that situation I just said now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Look, them days for me are long gone, but I can watch.
Okay.
All right. But when you're running out here, let me know. I'm gonna give you my information. I want to come see you perform, man.
I appreciate that.
All right.
I'm gonna definitely do that.
Please do. Justin Gatlin, the Justin Gatlin Foundation, to be at the Ocean Breeze Athletic Complex this Saturday, 9 a.m. to 12 on Staten Island. Bring your kids. Woo! Bring the kids. All right.
It's Sway in the morning. Only
On Shea 45.